I got some water, went back to bed, and the next dream occurred, and it was unbelievable. So in the dream, I get a call from my ex-wife that my mother-in-law had passed away, and she's still living, but in the dream, my ex-mother-in-law passed away, and my ex-wife called to help clean out the house and everything. And she has 2 sisters who are deaf with special needs. One's moved away, but one still lives with the mother-in-law. And so I went to help clean up the house and to help her sister get situated with my ex because she was moving in there. And it had just snowed, and there's about 5 inches of snow on the ground. And it was very cold. It was winter time. And I left the house and I went to meet up with my mom. And when I met up with my mom, I told her the news, and it was just unbelievable, And so we started to head towards this condo, which is, I guess, in the dream would have been like our home, but it was a condo. I don't know. I can't really make sense of that. Anyway, we're driving down this back country road, which is really only about 3 miles from where I live currently, and it's snowy conditions. It's dusk, twilight, beautiful sunset. About 5 inches of snow on the ground, and we're driving out this road, and as the land lays where we are positioned on the highway, we're about a quarter mile, eighth of a mile away from an intersection of another road, a T intersection. As we approach that intersection, I notice coming at me, here in America, we drive on the right-hand side of the road. Well, coming at me, oncoming traffic on the left-hand side, and I'm a truck guy, so, I like trucks, is a desert tan Dodge Ram Warlock off-road edition, all right? And I think Warlock is important because, that's the body style, the off-road package for the Ram trucks, and it was coming towards me, all right? And so I had to veer out of my lane into the left lane to keep from hitting it head on. And I looked into the windshield and I could see a man, like a military man, he was in fatigues. And I noticed a black insignia was spray painted on the passenger side door. I assume it was on both doors, but that's what I saw. And I couldn't quite make out what the insignia was. Immediately after that, I was still on the left-hand side of the road. I see this military RV looking thing, and it's desert tan painted as well. If you've ever seen the movie Stripes, it kind of looks like that RV that Bill Murray uses to go rescue John Candy and the boys. And I thought it was odd. And my mom was following me in my truck. She was following me in her car, and we're approaching the stop sign. The insignia is painted on that RV too, as well. Still couldn't tell what it was. Well, as we approach the intersection, this truck cuts me off. All right. And it's a truck for a SAM turret, surface to air missile. And because it cut across the lane and was getting into the left-hand side, it clicked with me. I'm like, this is military, but they're not Americans. They're on the other side of the road. You're right. These people are coming from some other country, right? Because they're driving on the side of the road that's natural to them, and it's forcing my mom and me off the road. Well, as they're passing in front of me, I can see the insignia that's on the truck, and it is a hammer and sickle with a star above it and CCCP underneath it. It was a joint Russian-Chinese military operation, and my heart sank. And it was like we were shrouded in the spirit from them being allowed to see us. And that's what was so amazing, because we were allowed to see this invasion. They were setting up a checkpoint on this rural country road. If you knew where I live in the middle of nowhere, for Russian Chinese soldiers to be setting up out here. That means that things are bad, that we've been invaded. And so like we peel out, and we're like double timing it back to this condo where we're trying to go. And this is where things get really, really strange and really prophetic, I believe. So we park in this town, in this city area. It's a larger city than where I live, but it's still like home, if that makes sense. And so my mom and I, we park our cars, we get out, and I'm like, we got to go, you know, we're running uphill. We've got to run up a hill and then, you know, to the left to get to this entrance of this condo. As we come up the hill, across the street, the hill continues to ascend. And so people were descending this hill coming towards us. And it looked like a parade. It looked like a bunch of people in a parade, and like they had a big float or a mascot, like a big man, you know, and it was behind them, because it just looked so surreal and so dreamlike. And it was a dream, you know. But as they got closer, you could hear their screams. And when I really like fixed my eyes on what this float was, it was a giant 12 to 15 foot tall man. And he was just swatting people left and right, and they were just flying, like just boom, boom, boom. And I was like, oh wow, this is unbelievable. Right then, a guy runs up to the giant and throws this Molotov cocktail. If you don't know what a Molotov cocktail is, you know, you mix a little bit of motor oil and gasoline, stuff a rag in it, and light that sucker on fire, and it's like a makeshift grenade. This dude throws a Molotov cocktail at this giant, and the giant catches it, and he just boom, slaps his hands together and poof, just bursts into flames, and he's just laughing. And so now he's swatting people, and he's on fire, and they're catching on fire. And as that happened, it was like, I don't know how many, like what percentage wise, this crowd turned, and they all had automatic weapons. They were like sleeper cells, like the fanners of Babylon in Isaiah. And they just turn on the crowd, and they just start mowing people down. And they are fighting in alliance with this giant. Like they're moving in step, you know? And so immediately we're just like totally stunned, and we run up into the condo. We get upstairs, and I'm warning everybody there's like a party going on, and it's all ages of people, you know? And I'm like, hey, there's some crazy stuff going on. China and Russia has invaded us. There's giants outside. I'm not kidding. People are dying. The street is just carnage. And they just look at me and they laugh, and they're like, you know, you're the boy who cried wolf type deal. And I was just like, you idiots, look outside, look outside. No one even cared to look outside. They got up from where they were and they went to the next room. All right. So my mom and me are there, and I'm just like grabbing weapons, grabbing a backpack and everything. This young boy comes out, he's probably 17, 18 years old. And he comes out, he's like, I see it and I believe you, and let's go. And so that's what we did. We left. And so that was how the dream basically ended. But it started out, the first dream was persecution, and I was running for my life. And then in the next dream, there was a family crisis, and we were met on the road, as we seemed to be invisible, by a Russian-Chinese joint military operation. Then as we went to flee, we see giants and sleeper cells activated, like Nephilim. I don't know, you know? I mean, all these things are spoken of and foretold. So I just wanted to bring this to you guys. I prayed about it today to see, you know, if the Lord wanted me to share it. And everything that I looked up as far as the dream goes, I found. And I'll post that with this. God bless you all.
If you watched the entire video, leave a comment. I want to read your opinion and see what you have to say. Like this video so more people can watch it. Share it with others. Subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell to receive new videos. And check out these 2 amazing videos that are appearing on your screen.